Hi everyone, it's Shari Carroll here, and welcome to my stop on the Simon Says Stamp Cold Hands, Warm Heart blog hop. I've created a unique card using some unusual Christmas colors. So I have some really bright Audrey blue and dull pink, and our great new sequins, which are called Crystal Reflections. I absolutely love these. To start my card off, I'm going to be using the stitched slopes and hills, and they come all together, and I use like a jewelry wire cutter just to separate the pieces. Before I separate these, I'm going to mark the sides of these because the way these work is there's a die cut edge and then there's a stitched edge, and you can use the stitch edge on either side of the die cut edge, and I'll show you how I use that in a little bit. So I have these marked up so I'll know which direction they go. The first cut that I'm making is a nice, really smooth slope, and I have the two dies together and they just fit right together, and this will give me the perfect stitch border. So I've run that through my die cut machine, and now I have my second set of dies sitting on my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine. To create a third slope, I have the leftover paper. I'll go ahead and get this out of the way and show you how this works. So this is the leftover paper from that. Now I have the stitched die on the other side of that cut edge. So now I'm just going to place this down, make sure that I line it up, and now I can run this through my die cut machine and it'll give me the perfect stitched edge. Here are my three slopes that I've put together, and I've put foam tape in between. So now I have really nice directions of those slopes, and they will go onto a backing piece, and then I'll put them onto another cardstock. I have stamped the stitched tree, and this comes from the Stitch Shapes, and I'll go ahead and pull this stamp set out. So you have lots of nice shapes in here for all occasions, but I've used the tree, and it has the stitch marks already in it, and I've used the brand new hydrangea ink pad, and I've also used the matching die for the stamp set. I am going to be loading my little tree up with the Crystal Reflections sequins, and these are just really great colors. And I kind of tried these out a little bit, and I found that the hydrangea color really worked well underneath, and that's kind of how I set off the color scheme for my card. So I'm just using my glue pen and just adding little dots of glue, and I can go ahead and just press in those sequins. You could use glossy accents or mono adhesive if you want, but the glue pen works well for me. So I'm just going to keep filling up my tree until it's really, really overloaded. Next, I have my panel of white Nina cardstock, and I have the Falling Snow stencil from last year, still one of my favorites. And I'm also using the Ranger texture paste, and I also have my craft palette knife here. And I'm just going to go ahead and spread my embossing paste onto this panel. I don't really have to get it very close to the bottom. I just want to make sure that I have a lot of that falling snow really nicely at the top. I thought this stencil was the perfect stencil, especially since I'm doing those slopes and hills on the front end of the card. If you're not sure what to do for a background, a lot of the times you'll probably notice that I do a white on white background, and this just gives me a lot of good texture. So once I'm done spreading that out, I'll go ahead and clean off my palette knife, and I'll lift off my stencil, and now you can see that falling snow. Here, I'll go ahead and lift this up. And this just gives me a really beautiful white on white background. I'll be using a fun set of dies, and this is called Village, and these are just little houses and a couple little trees. So I've cut a couple out using dull pink and Audrey blue, and I'll just place them behind the snowbanks. I have placed my white panel onto a piece of Audrey blue cardstock, and I've also put it onto a top folding Nina card. And right now I'm using my clear Wink of Stella glitter pen just to highlight the tops of the snowbanks. To finish things off, I've added a little silver twine around the bottom of the card, and also a couple of stamped banners at the top, and also used the matching dies for those. I hope I've given you some inspiration on how to use a couple of the products from the Cold Hands Warm Heart release from Simon Says Stamp. Thanks for watching.